Prologue Exodus. The massive generation ship Novum Spem hummed with barely contained energy as it broke free from Earth's gravitational pull. Behind it, 5 sister ships followed in tight formation, each carrying 10,000 souls, the last remnants of humanity fleeing a dying world. As Earth receded into the distance, Commander Zephyr Thorn stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. Course plotted for the Proxima Centauri system, announced Navigator Orion Vex, his voice tinged with both excitement and trepidation. Estimated travel time 437 years. Zephyr nodded, his steel-gray eyes fixed on the viewscreen. Initiate cryo-rotation protocols. May our descendants find the new home we could not. As the fleet accelerated towards the stars, none aboard could have foreseen the crucible of conflict that awaited them in the cold, unforgiving void of space. Chapter 1: Awakening. 437 years later. Klaxons blared throughout the Novum Spem as cryopods hissed open, disgorging their disoriented occupants. Among them was Caspian Frost, great-great-grandson of Zephyr Thorn. As he stumbled from his pod, the ship shuddered violently, nearly knocking him off his feet. "What's happening?" he croaked, his vocal cords straining after centuries of disuse. A nearby technician, frantically working at a console, shouted over the din, "We're under attack. The Astral Vanguard has opened fire on us." Caspian's mind reeled. The Astral Vanguard was supposed to be their sister ship, part of the same fleet. How could this be happening? As he raced towards the bridge, dodging panicked crew members and sparking conduits, Caspian pieced together the horrifying truth. Over the centuries, the 6 ships had diverged, evolving into distinct societies with their own ideologies and ambitions. What should have been a triumphant arrival at humanity's new home had instead become a battle for supremacy. Bursting onto the bridge, Caspian found organized chaos. Officers barked orders as tactical displays showed the positions of the 6 ships, now scattered across a vast stretch of space. Status report, Caspian demanded, falling easily into the role he had been bred and trained for. A grizzled officer turned to face him. "Commander Frost, sir. We've got the Astral Vanguard bearing down on our starboard flank. The Celestial Pioneer and Exodus Prime are engaged in combat to our aft. The Starborn Legacy and Nova Eclipse are maintaining distance, but their intentions are unclear." Caspian's mind raced. 6 ships, 6 factions, all vying for control of humanity's future. "Shields?" he asked. "Holding at 62%, sir. We've taken heavy damage to our port weapons array." Gritting his teeth, Caspian made a decision that would alter the course of human history. Charge the main cannon. Target the Astral Vanguard's engines. We end this now. As the order was relayed, Caspian couldn't help but wonder how had it come to this. And more importantly, how would it end? Chapter 2: Echoes of the Past. While the Novum Spem prepared for battle, aboard the Astral Vanguard, Admiral Talon Ravencroft paced the bridge like a caged predator. His angular features were set in a mask of determination as he surveyed the tactical display. "Press the attack," he growled. "The Novum Spem must fall if we are to secure our rightful place as humanity's leaders." His second-in-command, a wiry man named Silas Flint, cleared his throat nervously. "Sir, intercepted communications suggest that Commander Frost has taken control of the Novum Spem. Our intelligence indicates he's formidable." Talon's eyes flashed dangerously. "Frost?" Thorn's descendant, a slow, cruel smile spread across his face. "How fitting. Let him witness the fall of his ancestors' legacy." As the Astral Vanguard bore down on its target, Talon's mind drifted to the events that had led to this moment. Centuries ago, when the first generation of ship-born children came of age, cracks began to form in the unity of the fleet. Philosophical differences about the nature of their mission and the future of humanity led to heated debates, then to factionalism. The Astral Vanguard, under the leadership of Talon's great-grandfather, had embraced a doctrine of martial strength and genetic enhancement. They believed that only the fittest should inherit the new world, and they were determined to prove their supremacy. A violent shudder rocked the ship, snapping Talon back to the present. "Report," he barked. Silas's fingers danced across his console. "Direct hit to our forward shields. The Novum Spem has brought its main cannon online." Talon's eyes narrowed. "So, the sheep bare their teeth. intensify forward firepower. I want that ship crippled. As the two massive vessels exchanged salvos, 3 other ships maneuvered in the distance, their captains watching with a mixture of apprehension and calculation. Aboard the Celestial Pioneer, Captain Zane Blackthorne observed the battle with growing concern. His ship, dedicated to scientific pursuit and exploration, had the most advanced sensors in the fleet. What he saw chilled him to the bone. Marks on, he called to his AI companion, analyze the combat data. At this rate of destruction, what are the chances any of us will survive to reach Proxima Centauri? The AI's response was immediate and grim. Based on current trajectories and weapon yields, complete mutual destruction is an 87.3% probability within the next 72 hours. Zane's shoulders sagged, the weight of centuries pressed down upon him. Then we have no choice. Prepare the Omega Protocol. If humanity is to survive, sacrifices must be made. As the Celestial Pioneer began to power up its experimental drive, the other ships remained locked in their deadly dance, unaware that the greatest threat to their existence lay not in each other, but in the desperate gambit of a man determined to save them all. Chapter 3: The Crucible of Stars. The vacuum of space erupted in silent fury as the Novum Spem and Astral Vanguard traded devastating blows. On the bridge of the Novum Spem, Caspian Frost fought to maintain control of his battered vessel. Reroute power from life support to the shields, he ordered, ignoring the alarmed looks from his crew. We can breathe recycled air for a few hours if it means surviving this assault. As if in response to his defiance, a barrage of energy torpedoes slammed into the Novum Spem's hull, sending tremors throughout the ship. Caspian was thrown to the deck, tasting blood as he bit his tongue. Sir, cried out his tactical officer, Lieutenant Rigel Storm, the Exodus Prime is moving to flank us. Caspian hauled himself to his feet, mind racing. The Exodus Prime, under the command of the enigmatic Draven Shadowbane, had thus far remained neutral in the conflict. Its intervention could tip the scales decisively. Open a channel, Caspian ordered, straightening his uniform. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the sharp features of Captain Shadowbane. Commander Frost Draven's silky voice filled the bridge. It seems you find yourself in quite the predicament. Caspian met the other man's gaze unflinchingly. Captain Shadowbane, I implore you to see reason. This madness will be the end of us all. Join us in defending against the Astral Vanguard's aggression. Draven's lips curled into a cold smile. Oh, I intend to end this conflict, Commander, just not in the way you might hope. Without warning, the Exodus Prime unleashed a furious barrage, not at the Novum Spem, but at the Astral Vanguard. Caught off guard, Talon Ravencroft's ship took heavy damage, its shields flickering and failing under the assault. Caspian watched in stunned silence as Draven's face vanished from the screen, replaced by the tactical display showing the Exodus Prime systematically tearing into both ships. He means to destroy us both, Caspian realized aloud. To eliminate the strongest contenders and claim leadership for himself. As if to confirm his words, the Starborn Legacy and Nova Eclipse began to move into attack positions, seeing an opportunity in the chaos. Aboard the Astral Vanguard, Admiral Talon Ravencroft snarled in fury as his ship burned around him. Treacherous dogs. Silas, prepare the Nova Bomb. If we're to fall, we'll take them all with us. Silas Flint's eyes widened in horror. Sir, the Nova Bomb is untested. It could destroy everything within a light year. Talon grabbed his subordinate by the collar. Better oblivion than defeat. Do it. As the ships continued their deadly ballet, none noticed the Celestial Pioneer silently slipping away from the battlefield, its experimental drive beginning to glow with an otherworldly light. Captain Zane Blackthorne closed his eyes, whispering a prayer to the void. Forgive me. In an instant, the Celestial Pioneer vanished in a burst of impossible energy, tearing a hole in the fabric of spacetime. The shockwave rippled outward, catching the warring vessels in its grasp. Caspian Frost watched in awe and terror as reality itself seemed to twist around them. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was the hull of his ship beginning to tear apart, the stars beyond stretching into streaks of light. In the span of a heartbeat, 5 generation ships and the last remnants of humanity were hurled across the cosmos, their fates uncertain and their destinies forever altered. Chapter 4: Shattered Realities. Consciousness returned to Caspian Frost in waves of agony. Every nerve in his body screamed as he forced his eyes open, blinking away the haze of pain and confusion. The bridge of the Novum Spem lay in ruins around him, sparking consoles and bodies strewn across the deck. Status report, he croaked, struggling to his feet. Only silence answered him. As Caspian stumbled through the wreckage, the full extent of the catastrophe became clear. The Novum Spem had been torn in half, its aft section nowhere to be seen. Emergency force fields flickered weakly, barely containing the atmosphere. A groan from nearby caught his attention. Lieutenant Rigel Storm emerged from beneath a fallen bulkhead, his face streaked with blood. "Commander," he gasped. "What? What happened?" Caspian helped his officer up, his mind racing. "The Celestial Pioneer," he said grimly. "Whatever they did, it scattered us across space. We need to find out where we are and if any of the other ships survived." As if in answer to his words, a distant light caught his eye through the shattered viewscreen. A planet, blue and inviting, hung in the void before them. "Impossible," Rigel breathed. "We were nowhere near a habitable system." Caspian's jaw tightened. "We are now, and I'd bet my last breath we're not the only ones who made it here." Across the expanse of the unknown world, the remnants of humanity's last fleet lay scattered like fallen stars. On a vast, windswept plain, Admiral Talon Ravencroft emerged from the smoking wreckage of the Astral Vanguard, rage burning in his eyes. "Silas," he bellowed, "report." His second in command appeared, looking shell-shocked. "Sir, we've landed. But this isn't Proxima Centauri. I don't recognize any of these star configurations." Talon grabbed a nearby weapon, checking its charge. "It doesn't matter. We're here, we're alive, and we will conquer this world. Gather the survivors. We move at dawn." In a dense jungle on another continent, Draven Shadowbane of the Exodus Prime rallied his crew. "Our ship may be lost," he declared, his voice carrying over the alien calls of unseen creatures, "but our destiny is not. We will carve out an empire on this world and let the others tremble at our approach." Near the shores of a vast ocean, the Nova Eclipse had made a water landing, its hull breached but largely intact. Its captain, a cunning strategist named Lysander Volt, already formulated plans for domination. "We have the advantage of a stable platform," he told his officers. "We'll use the ship's resources to build and expand. When we encounter the others, we'll be ready." And deep in a mountain range, Captain Zane Blackthorne of the Celestial Pioneer gazed out over the alien landscape, the weight of his actions heavy on his shoulders. "What have I done?" he whispered. His AI companion, Arxon, spoke softly. "You've given humanity a chance, Captain. A new world, untouched by our past mistakes. The question now is, what will they do with it?" Zane's eyes hardened with resolve. "Then we'd better make sure they don't repeat those mistakes. Prepare our stealth systems, we'll observe, and intervene only if necessary." As the survivors of Earth's exodus gathered their strength and set out to explore their new home, none could have predicted the trials that awaited them. Old enmities burned bright, fueled by the desperation of their circumstances and the promise of a world ripe for conquest. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the future of the human race, played out on an alien world that held secrets of its own. And high above, unnoticed by the warring factions, a shape moved against the stars. A sixth ship, thought lost, now returned to bear witness to humanity's final test. Chapter 5: Clash of Titans. Months passed on the alien world, dubbed Nova Terra by the survivors. The remnants of the generation ships had established footholds across the planet's varied terrain, each faction racing to secure resources and build their forces for the inevitable confrontation. Caspian Frost, having salvaged what he could from the Novum Spem, led his people in creating a fortified settlement in a verdant valley. They called it Haven, a name that belied the military preparations underway within its walls. Commander Rigel Storm approached, his once pristine uniform now a patchwork of repairs. "Scouts report movement to the north. It's Ravencroft's forces. They'll be upon us within days." Caspian nodded grimly. "And Shadowbane's troops are massing in the east. We're about to be caught in a vice." He turned to his assembled officers. "We've prepared for this. Activate the defense grid. All able-bodied personnel to battle stations. We hold the line here." As Haven braced for assault, Admiral Talon Ravencroft surveyed the valley from a nearby ridge, a predatory gleam in his eye. "Frost thinks his walls will protect him," he sneered. "Silas, prepare the siege engines. We'll crack open his sanctuary like an overripe fruit." But even as Ravencroft's forces began their advance, a new player entered the field. Captain Lysander Volt of the Nova Eclipse, having built a fearsome naval force, launched an amphibious assault on Shadowbane's coastal stronghold. The clash of steel and energy weapons echoed across Nova Terra as three of humanity's mightiest remnants collided in a battle for supremacy. Ravencroft's genetically enhanced soldiers smashed against Heaven's walls, while Shadowbane's elite commandos fought a desperate holding action against Volt's marine battalions. In the heart of the conflict, Caspian Frost.